breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey folks, it is Friday, May 1st, 2026. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you tonight. We got some good stories we're going to get into. By the way, today's May Day. Of course, I'm no communist, so it doesn't really mean anything to me. But yeah, if you are like a majority of Gen Z out there, well, I'm sure you're out celebrating tonight. Nevertheless, we got good stories. We're going to talk about Pentagon makes deal with AI companies to expand classified work. At the same time, Palantir is still using Anthropic's Claude as Pentagon blacklist plays out, CEO Alex Karp says. As Tim Cook steps down, Apple hits record sales, but a chip shortage looms. Meta buys robotics startup to bolster its humanoid AI ambitions. The Mandalorian and Grogu tracking for the worst opening weekend in Star Wars history. Oh boy. FCC launches early review of Disney broadcast licenses citing DEI policy concerns. And DC Studios co-host Peter Safran echoes James Gunn's claim that there's no superhero fatigue, only mediocre movie fatigue. We'll see about that. Before we get into it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to share the clips of the show, the little segments, the little shorts, TikToks, Reels. And then make sure to join the school community where there's a link in the bio for all of my major platforms. You can find it on Instagram, Facebook, Rumble. But yeah, join the school community where you'll be able to talk to me. You'll be able to talk to other people who kind of think and kind of like think just like me, and as well as make posts and read other people's posts and stuff. So super fun stuff. Yeah, let's just jump in here. So Pentagon makes deal with AI companies to expand classified work. The agreements with the technology companies come amid the Defense Department dispute with Anthropic. Okay, so this is obviously a huge FU to Dario Amodei because, as we know, a few months ago, Pentagon wanted to make a deal with Anthropic. I guess what had happened was after the successful sort of Maduro capture from Venezuela, as it turns out, Anthropic models were used in that sort of successful kidnapping / capture. And so, yeah, it kind of started around there, some unrest and uneasiness coming from Anthropic until finally it culminated in this sort of standoff between the War Department, is what it's actually called right now, actually. But yeah, there was a standoff against Anthropic and the War Department, the Department of War. And, what ended up happening was Anthropic walked away because they thought they were better than the U.S. government, I guess. And so the Pentagon now is saying that they've confirmed deals with xAI, OpenAI, and Google. In addition, the Pentagon has said that it has reached deals with AWS, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Reflection AI, a startup. These agreements accelerate the transformation towards establishing the U.S. military as an AI-first fighting force, the Pentagon said in a statement. So, okay, cool. AI for military. Now, here's the thing. So, just quick caveat, this article that I have up right now is from March 12th, but it's still kind of in effect. CNBC reports Palantir is still using Anthropic's Claude as Pentagon blacklist plays out, CEO Karp says. So that's interesting. Of course, I was sort of wondering, like, hey, what happens to Palantir, who's kind of the biggest user of Anthropic? Because, let's face it, Anthropic is kind of the best enterprise AI out there at this point. All major outlets have confirmed that they've, for all intents and purposes, outside of like daily active user count and revenue, Anthropic's momentum and just overall enterprise customer goodwill kind of puts them ahead of OpenAI. And so, anyways, what's funny is Palantir is still using them despite sort of the order to within 6 months rip them out. And so Alex Karp here is saying, "Oh well, he said somewhere here that you can't just rip out." Yeah, here. Or I guess who's Michael? Yeah. Oh, okay. Defense Department CTO Emil Michael told CNBC that it would take time for the government to transition away from Anthropic's models. You can't just rip out a system that's deeply embedded overnight. So there you go. This is what I was wondering. Like, what are these guys going to do? They're just going to be, okay, let's just swap in OpenAI. I mean, is that really going to happen? It kind of says here that, well, we'll see after 6 months and then we might extend it. That's essentially what they're saying. So in effect, what Trump said, it means that what Trump said isn't going to like, sort of pan out. Because here it says, if we're in a conflict 6 months from now and we have a sensitive operation that we need to continue, obviously we're going to make exceptions so we don't put current operations at risk. So nobody can use Anthropic except Palantir. It was the biggest person using Anthropic anyway. It's like, all right. Nobody can use Anthropic except everyone who's using Anthropic. Yeah, okay. That sounds good. Yeah. As Tim Cook steps down, Apple hits record sales, but a chip shortage looms. So this is interesting and funny because isn't it crazy that right when Cook steps down, Apple hits record sales? Like, just the fact that Cook stepping down will be associated with record sales. I mean, that must really sting for Cook. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Even if you were responsible for that, because like, oh, well, the time you were there fully overlaps to when the sales were being done. Even if you went in with that, which is probably even correct, it's like you got to know human psychology. And it's like, oh, well, people are just going to think, okay, Cook left, record sales. It's like, Cook must be bad. It's like, oh my God. And he's probably like, oh shit. Today, Apple is proud to report our best March quarter ever with revenue of 111.2 billion and double-digit growth access across every geographic segment. All because Cook left. Yeah. No, that's funny though. Meta buys robotics startup to bolster its humanoid AI ambitions. So Meta just acquired humanoid robotic startup Assured Robot Intelligence. Their valuation was actually not even that easy to find. Seems like they're a seed company, so very small startup with about 11, maybe a little bit more employees. 11 employees though, between New York City, that is, and San Diego. And it was launched in 2025, so last year. So very small, VC backed seed round startup. And so not much is known about it, but I guess Zuckerberg is trying to get into humanoid robotics projects. I mean, Meta, like, what even is going on? Like, I don't even want to say it's a shit show because apparently they did really well for their earnings, but they wanted to do the metaverse. It didn't pan out. Then they kept doing a bunch of layoffs. They're like one of the, biggest players in the software company who's laying off space, right? Keep getting notifications from your phone from like Washington Post saying, oh my God, Meta's doing 20% layoffs and this, that. laid off the whole Reality Labs team, whatever. So anyway, so Metaverse doesn't work out. They lay off everybody, and then they put a bunch of work into. They pivot away from the Metaverse, go into AI, but kind of late, and then they decide not to give the AI to anybody. Like it's not really used for enterprise purposes. Like, yeah, you can run like Llama or whatever on your local machine as like a user, but like nobody's really using Meta LLMs. They're the ones kind of using it. It's just like all over Instagram and Facebook now. And so yeah, it seems like they're kind of doing the same thing here. And this tech with humanoid robots, right? So this TechCrunch article goes, even if Meta never releases a consumer humanoid project, and then it goes on, like they'll probably use it themselves. It's like, wow, what a pattern they've come up with. The Mandalorian and Grogu tracking for worst opening weekend in Star Wars history. Oh no. So Star Wars has long stood as one of the most successful franchises in human history, in film history. But after a string of recent projects that's failed to fully connect with audiences, that dominance is starting to look less certain. So apparently, it's projected to do around 80 million domestically. Now, what is that in context with everything else? Revenge of the Sith, which happens to be one of my favorite movies, but came out in 2005, $108 million, basically first weekend, opening weekend. And that's like 2005. So already like $20 million, $30 million decrease from Revenge of the Sith. The Force Awakens, right? 2015, first Disney project with Star Wars. $247 million opening weekend. And this is going to be 80. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's literally shrunk by 1/3. So apparently it's going to do so bad that it's as bad as Solo, a Star Wars story, which was known as like, well, first of all, it was the first entry in franchise history to lose money. So how about that? So it's going to be pretty much opening around the same as that. Solo's widely viewed as one of Lucasfilm's biggest theatrical misfires. Solo became a cautionary tale about audience fatigue and brand overextension, opening at $84 million. Solo. And you know what else it is? It's Pedro Pascal fatigue. And so I kind of touched on this last time, the other day. But this guy is literally in everything, and he's just such a beta cuck. Like he's in The Mandalorian, this new movie. He's in The Last of Us seasons 1 and 2. He's in, let's see what else he's in. Gladiator 2, The Wild Robot, Materialists with Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson. Eddington, The Fantastic Four, First Steps as Reed Richards. And again, same character in Avengers Doomsday as Reed Richards. You can't get away from him. And he's the internet daddy, self-proclaimed. But yeah, like people don't like this guy, right? And Disney seems to want to shoehorn him everywhere across Lucasfilm, Marvel, right? Like what even is going on? So anyways, here's geeksandgamers.com kind of covering the same story. That's what it says here. If the current Mandalorian and Grogu box office tracking holds, the film would officially take the unwanted title of lowest opening Star Wars movie ever. That distinction currently belongs to Solo, a film regarded as one of Lucasfilm's biggest theatrical misfires. So, anyways, FCC from that Park Place, FCC launches early review of Disney broadcast licenses, citing DEI policy concerns. So apparently it was supposed to be like audited or at least scheduled for a renewal in between 2028 and 2031, but the FCC is ordering them now. And take a look at why. And apparently in this document, Disney has been, and everyone knew this already, but just in black and white here, Disney has been kind of implementing DEI up the wazoo. So it says here in this document, it has also implemented mandatory, quote, inclusion standards across ABC, requiring, for example, that, quote, 50% of regular and recurring characters be drawn from, quote, underrepresented groups. These standards may have forced racial and identity quotas at every level of production, demanding that 50% or more of writers, directors, crews, and vendors be selected based off of group identity. How crazy is that? You know, to be honest, I have a confession to make. I almost wish that I didn't do everything by the book. You know how exciting it is to like play the victim card? Like if I had something like I almost wish that I had something to be like, "Hey man, like just an ace in the hole for like the victim economy." Like cuz everyone's like gaming the system now with like college, with like, you know, getting a writer, director, or crew member role in one of Disney's projects, being an actor. Like, I mean, I just think it's wild. Like, if I was to do life again, I would, just for the thrill of it, just to say fuck you to the system, I would pull all the stops. I'd just like stack up all of the like victim economy cards and then just become king of the world after that. You know what I mean? It's just like I think I just win after that. Just pure winning. But yeah, that's kind of my take on that. Kind of crazy. We'll see where this goes. DC Studios co-head Peter Safran echoes James Gunn's claim that there's no superhero fatigue, only, quote, mediocre movie fatigue. So Supergirl is coming out soon. The trailer just came out like last month. And so DC co-head Peter Safran is essentially saying, I never felt that there was superhero fatigue. I felt that there was mediocre movie fatigue. You got to try something new. You have to change the game a little bit. This is the essential story on which Supergirl is based is something cool and original and something we haven't seen before. So, like, look, the reality is audiences are done with the superhero genre, okay? You want to know what the new genre is? The new genre is video game movies. The Super Mario movie knocked it out of the park, okay? The Minecraft movie knocked it out of the park. The Super Mario Galaxy 2 movie knocked it out of the park. Right? Like you can just do slop. Like and listen, like the budgets weren't even that high for most of these video game movies. That they're more but they basically just like raked in hundreds of millions of dollars of profit each. I think their budgets were only like around $100 million per, and then they raked home like several $100 million more than that, right? Whereas something like Avengers Doomsday, they're giving $100 million just to Robert Downey Jr. alone. It's projected that they might even get around near $1 billion in budget. Like that's how big the budget might go up to. And if that's the case, there's no coming back. Like there's not. I mean, imagine having to break $1 billion as a movie in order to like break even. Like that's something that only a handful of movies have done. James Cameron's Avatar 2009, and then Avengers Endgame, maybe a couple more, but it's like not a lot of movies do that. And so Disney Marvel is just so desperate. DC so desperate. Like, oh my god, but superhero guys, like, dude, superheroes died in 2019 after Endgame. Okay, people aren't exactly excited to start fresh and like invest in characters no one cares about anymore. It's like we're done. But no, it's like Saffron and Gunn, they're like, oh no, it's just bad movie fatigue. No, it's superhero fatigue. And then they're Superman didn't even do that well. Like apparently I mean it sort of looked like they broke even, but there are reports saying that it actually lost money. And then, oh my god, they had to greenlight Supergirl right after Superman from last year. And it's like, give me a break, please. Like nobody's going to watch your movie. It's like basically a drunk college girl type archetype, and she's just going to be running around like I guess with her dog, like or trying to save her dog. That's like the whole plot. It's like, okay. Okay, have fun losing money, like, yeah. And I'll just end on this, like, hiring Gunn, like, James Gunn as the director, like, yeah, the DCEU is cooked. Not that it ever was, like, anything special. Never could compete against Disney Marvel, and Disney Marvel's now losing, and has been losing, like, ever since after 2019. So, yeah. These guys are never gonna learn, but I'm having a lot of fun just watching the dumpster fire. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday evening. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.